Alright, what is up, residents of DangerVille? And boy, do we have a great video for you today. We have a guest with us, Klayton. He is a fellow YouTuber in the realm of dinos.
Hey guys, Klayton Fioriti here.
Alright, yes. We are going to be talking about something that's been I'd say pretty common in our field. Wouldn't you say, Klayton? The CGI of the Jurassic series. And with the new Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom trailer that just came out, figured we're gonna start off here talking about our overall thoughts on the trailer. So Klayton, I'm gonna let you take the ball right now, and so tell me what you feel about the trailer.
The trailer overall, actually, I have pretty positive feelings over it. I don't know if you know this, but The Lost World is my favorite sequel to the Jurassic Park series so far, and I'm getting a really good Lost World vibe.
Oh yeah, me too.
The one thing that I'm probably gonna have to make a whole video on it is the volcano, because I mean, I understand if people didn't know the volcano was there on the islands, they're like, well, what the fuck? But that's I get the precedence for it. I'm just probably going to have to explain it a little bit better. It looks darker. It looks way more savage than especially the last movie they made. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I had that same sort of feeling. I mean, this trailer compared to Jurassic Worlds trailer, when everybody lost their mind because it wasn't even the final CG that was in the movie. It was pre-staged for that. And then even when the movie came out, people were still not happy with it, really. And you brought up a very good point with the trailer. There is a lot of Lost World vibes coming off of it. So obviously the most important thing about the Jurassic franchise is in fact the dinosaurs, and lately the CGI for all of them, especially from Jurassic World, it's been pretty controversial. Yeah, how do you feel about the dinosaurs in the trailer, Klayton?
Well, I think specifically with Blue, they changed the way that they do CG for Jurassic World. They actually had people in costumes and I guess it's called CGI motion or whatever it's called, where they stick a guy in a costume and basically everything he does is a velociraptor movement. And if you look back, especially at Jurassic Park and the Lost World, those raptors don't move like that. And they're in Blue, particularly in that trailer, she's flexing her claws a lot. She's jumping up and down and kind of doing weird head ticks. I guess it's more like a bird, but the big thing that caught my eye was when she opens her mouth, it's really wide. It's actually in the picture that you've got it. She opened her mouth almost. I don't think I've ever seen a velociraptor open their mouth that big before.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah,
it looks really cartoony. Now, I mean, of course, we would never see an animatronic do that because it wouldn't work. I'm not saying it works right now.
It will work one day, but we're not quite at that level of robotics yet, I'd say, with our technology. One day.
That's what I'm thinking, and it's just, I think sometimes they overdo it a bit, and that picture in particular was the one that I was just like, wow, that she's really screaming at him.
Yeah, and it's like, I know that with these new raptors in the world part of Jurassic, they're a little bit more augmented than the raptors in the past, I believe. They kind of, messed with them a little bit more to make them look a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, you agree with me, and it does look just it looks good, but yet it looks cartoony, and her mouth is ridiculously huge, and her eyeballs look like an anime character or something. They're just massive.
I was kind of surprised actually when she jumped out on the Ford Explorer in the trailer, just how animated she was. Animated, that's a funny word to use. Not saying it looks, I don't think the CG for the trailer necessarily looks bad, especially knowing it's not finished yet. I think it's actually come a long way from the last movie, especially the last movie trailer.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I do think that they've over exaggerated a few times on these the Raptors in particular. I just wish they'd calm down a bit, act a little more like the Raptors I remember.
All right, so Klayton, you made a good point. You brought up the pictures that we are just getting ready to talk and compare about. First and foremost, the Raptors. Now we have a picture of Blue from the recent trailer for Fallen Kingdom, and we have a picture of a Raptor from the Lost World. The Raptor that decides to go and slam old Goldblum through the window. So we're gonna compare these two and kind of work with how the CGI is affecting to these scenes. So we already kind of discussed a lot about the Raptors already, especially with Blue and how with her mouth open like that she looks cartoony. So what do you think is good and bad about the Raptor from the Lost World picture that we have here?
Well, obviously it's older. We're dealing with a much slower frame rate, film instead of digital. But it's kind of like, the way I compare it is a really good cinematic from like a PlayStation or PlayStation 2 game maybe, compared to something you'd see on a PS4 or Xbox One.
Perfect comparison, Klayton. That's spot on, brother. I agree with that, yeah.
Now the light off the back of the Lost World Raptor, you can see that it overtakes its body in a few areas, where it's like completely white down this.
Oh yeah.
I think it especially for the time, I think it still looks great, but I think that it's just a different way that they approach the CG, especially with if you look at Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, they really. I don't really know how to put it, but it's almost like they got rid of the earthy tones of the browns and greens, and the blue color alone is I don't think that would exist in an animal kingdom. So there's a lot of things in the new movie that are kind of odd.
Moving on to the next picture, not everything from the new Jurassic World and specifically the trailer is coming off kind of like that blue cartoony look. And this next set of pictures, it kind of goes a little bit, it kind of swaps roles a little bit. So as you can see from Lost World, we have this Stegosaurus classic. That scene was it was awesome. But as you can see from the CG, the lighting coming through that you brought up, and everything coming through on it, he looks plasticky. I mean, it looks kind of like a toy. Now, when you're actually watching the movie, I find that in this scene, it doesn't really look so bad. But specifically, when you compare these two right beside each other, you can really tell a difference here.
Oh, totally. And I think a lot of that has to do with the advantage of, we're 20 years in the future. The resolution has improved greatly. You can make out like Jeff Goldblum, Vince Vaughn, Eddie Carr right here by the log. They're looking far more realistic than the Stegosaurus, and a lot of it's to do with the lighting. A lot of it's to do with, I guess you could call them limitations that this new movie does not have. This Brachiosaurus, I would argue, looks just as good as the Brachiosaurus in the first Jurassic Park movie. Now, it's not finished yet. We'll see what it looks like in the end. By the way, that's a great shot. I really enjoyed seeing all these mercenaries look up at that dinosaur. But you're right. They do kind of take a bit of a switch. And you're right. When you're watching the movie, it's not really noticeable. But when you look at the details, obviously one of these two has more detail than the other.
For sure. And so not everything is bad about the CGI in the new movies. There's a lot of people that'll instantly jump on it and hate it. Not so much with this new trailer. I haven't seen quite as much, but this is just a good point to show that not everything is bad with modern CG. All right, and of course we were gonna talk about old Rexy, or as you like to say, big old Mama Roberta, I think is what you called it at one time in one of your videos. So this is a really good thing to kind of break on, because these are both animatronics, correct?
Yes, they are.
All right, and you can really tell how when you bring animatronics to the table, I mean, couldn't you imagine both of those being a real T-Rex staring at you?
I could. I could see them about to kill my ass. But they, especially, God, that Lost World T-Rex staring at me is scary as hell.
Yeah, it's because the eyes are open. That's right when it gets into San Diego and about to go and, and cause all that mayhem. But yeah, and you can that's a good point to bring up as far as the story. The Lost World was, to me, it was a scary film. You know, back when I was a kid, I was freaked out of it a little bit. But even watching it today, you're like, there is some real life kind of tension and kind of mild horror to it. And I think what the point is that this picture of the T-Rex is perfect. It looks so real. It looks like how you would imagine a crocodile or a shark, like a great white, like right in your face. It's staring into your soul, but like at the same time it's like thinking it wants to eat you. So it's like a really freaky thing, and that's just a really great shot for the animatronic.
Totally. And in that scene where it finds out that Ian and Sarah have its baby, he's pissed.
He's pissed.
Yeah.
He's pissed. Don't you have my baby, man? Moving over to Rexy, though, it's a little different because I do believe that this is a mixture of an animatronic and some CG going on.
A little bit, yes.
A little bit, specifically with her eyes. As you see, it opens up, and obviously, you know, that's a CGI.
Right.
But what's really good about, you know, comparing the two of these is that you can clearly see that with the new one, now this isn't the greatest shot because, you know, we're going to have to wait before we get a nice live action or more, you know, with her not being knocked out or whatever she is. But you can really see how the animatronics are really going to help this film. It doesn't look quite as rubbery as the other one. As you can really tell from, you know, looking at it, you're like, you know, it's an animatronic, but it also looks like it's got some old school rubber on it. Whereas Rexy in this other one, I mean, her skin looks really good. Her scales are all different and unique, and there's different textures. I mean, it's really just these two pictures are just perfect for really showcasing the power of animatronics and how they really set a scene.
I think that the movie's really going to benefit from having these because, number one, it's been 20 years since this animatronic shot of the Lost World T-Rex. Of course, like the the technology has evolved. So why haven't we been using it, especially in the last movie? There could have been so many great shots of animatronic dinosaurs that would have really, I think, added more to the scare factor that I don't really know why they didn't want to go with. But
yeah, for sure. No, and that brings up a good point. Animatronics are way scarier than CG. Now, like some of the parts from the older movies, when I'm freaked out the most is when it's that real thing there, you know, like it's an actual, you know, object standing there staring at you, and it just makes it more scary. So I'm really hoping that there's some more frightening scenes in Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World, it could have been a lot more scary, like if the Indominus had some more animatronics and they really pushed that. But I think that movie just kind of came out at a weird transition period to where CG was coming so prominent, and they didn't really think about what would happen. And they learned, which is good, and that's a good point of this.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move on to the last image.
This is the one I've been waiting to talk about. You hear a lot of people complain about CG no matter what it is today. And, I mean, Jurassic Park is the movie that really kicked off the explosion. Of course, you got Terminator 2 and The Abyss before that. Look really good even today. And Jurassic Park still looks good. But I've been waiting to talk about this. The Velociraptor right here on the right, to me, does not look anywhere near as good as this Carnotaurus. And it's not the film's fault. I just think that it's 25 years later, and Jurassic Park's always going to be a landmark. The T-Rex breaking out of the paddock, it's probably the best special effects shot I think I've ever seen, and probably ever will. But this Carnotaurus, look at the pebbles, the pebbled texture of his skin. He's got light shining off his horns and by his face, saliva. We haven't seen this dinosaur before either. So I'm really excited, and you look at the other one. I hate to say it because it's my favorite film, but I mean, is this the Nintendo 64 game or is this Jurassic Park? Yeah, that's, and it happens. It's older, but I think people should really look at this Carnotaurus. God, to me it looks scary. It looks like
it does look scary.
It could kill you.
Yeah, for sure. That's very good points, Klayton. Yeah, I mean, this Carnotaur, look at all the little detail. Some poor handful of people had to sit and work on that model for probably like a month straight of their life, but you can really show how much like work and detail went into with the saliva and everything. Now, hopefully he doesn't get took out right after this, and the Carnotaurus actually gets some action in the film. But if this is the only shot, hell, it's a damn money shot. It looks really good. I'm just now noticing the scars around his upper lip. They're kind of faint, but looks like he's been in a fight. You can barely make him out. The left side of his face a little bit, towards the front of his mouth. Oh, okay. I didn't even notice that the first time I saw it. Yeah, they did a lot of detail on this thing. Yeah, I mean, they thought ahead of time. Obviously, being a predatory dinosaur, it's going to get in the fights. It's going to have scars and wounds, and that's something that they did really good with showcasing that on Rexy as well. To build off your point before we finish up here, the Raptor on the right, you're exactly right. Now, people will go and say, why does the CG from Jurassic Park, a movie 25 years ago, look better or just as good as what it does now? Now, there's a lot that goes into that. The reason why most of the shots in Jurassic Park, Lost World, and even a little bit with Jurassic Park 3, they're usually showcased with lighting that really, amps it up to where it looks pretty. You don't see as much flaws. But this picture specifically with the Raptor, oh, you can see it. You can see it because just how the lighting is and how everything is, and you can just see that this is obviously, first level CG. Right. We were beginning. Yeah, you're totally right. It just it's not as good as the Carnotaurus. Oh, right. So that was our discussion on the animatronics, the CG, and all of it combined. A little bit in the Jurassic series, focusing a lot with the Fallen Kingdom trailer that just came out and kind of bringing it back to the old school, looking at the roots, comparing to the future. I'm sure that the people at Universal are really going to keep cranking out more and more trailers. I mean, there was like a trailer for the trailer for the trailer for Fallen Kingdom. So we're going to see more, and hopefully we see more practical effects. Klayton, it's been an honor having you on here, man. I really look forward to really, building up the dinosaur community with you, and hopefully we can really, not only educate people about these ancient animals that we both clearly love, but, also talking about these awesome movies that we grew up with. It's pretty much a part of us. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. I've had a blast, and I can't wait to see where this stuff goes. Alright. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I want to give a huge thanks for Klayton in joining this video. If you like this sort of content, you're going to like his. He's awesome. Definitely recommend his channel. But here is a question to leave you guys with in conclusion. What do you think about the CGI the practical effects, all of that from the new film, specifically from the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom trailer, compared to the old ones? Do you still think the CGI debate needs to go on, or do you think the new Jurassic movies have finally established themselves as respectable in the series? This has been Jacob, and my residents, peace out.